Social dance. Social dance refers to dancing that is done for personal pleasure and satisfaction. Many social dances have their origins in folk dances, which are derived from ancient ritual or religious dances. Over time, however, social dancing has found its own place in society. The next several slides will give you a brief history of the development of social dancing and its role in society. In Europe during the Middle Ages, both nobility and peasants danced socially. Some of the most popular dances were farandole, a line dance in which the dancer's hands are linked; branle, a circular version of the farandole reminiscent of the ancient circle dances; estampie, the first couple dance which emerged from South France, in which the couple danced side by side, holding hands. A distinction began to develop, however, between the performances of the nobility and the peasants. The nobility style continued to develop into the early years of the Renaissance. During this period, the Italian dancing masters and styles of dance in the Italian court began to influence the dancing in other countries. The dancing masters began to specifically arrange a series of steps, in a sense choreographing a particular social dance. At the time, the separation and identification of different types of dances was encouraged. Here are some examples. The cotillion was a square dance for two couples. Square dance refers to the fact that couples began facing each other, forming a square. Today, the word cotillion is used to describe a class many children take, designed to teach them about manners and formal dancing. During the reign of King Louis XIV of France, the division between social dancing and theatrical dancing became more distinct. The king established the Académie Royale de Danse to codify and train dancers professionally. It was still an accomplishment to dance well, but dancing by untrained people became limited to polite society. Soon, in the 18th century, the middle class began to embrace the dances of the nobility. This enthusiasm that spread among the larger percentage of the population led to the establishment of public balls. Such balls allowed for organized evenings of dancing that incorporated many of the popular social dances of the time. By the 1780s, social dancing was extremely popular, but had changed. At this time, a new musical and dance form known as the waltz appeared in Vienna and quickly spread throughout Europe. The waltz derives from German folk dancing and was initially thought to be coarse and lascivious because it was a couple's dance performed face to face instead of side by side. Despite the opposition, all of the social dances from this time, the waltz was the only one that continues to be a staple in ballrooms today. Social dance began to be popular in the United States in the 19th century during the Industrial Revolution, when immigrants brought many of these dances to the country. One of the couples responsible for popularizing social dancing and making it seem more acceptable were Vernon and Irene Castle. As exhibition dancers, they performed throughout the United States and Europe and were known for their elegance and beauty. Since they were revered, they were often able to take dance forms that may not have been socially accepted and turned them into elegant dances that became instantly popular. Much of the development of new social dance forms in the United States can be linked to the development of new music. Here are some examples. Ragtime inspired the one-step. The one-step was a form simple enough to be learned and performed by nearly everyone, which was the attraction of the style. Jazz led to Charleston. The Charleston is extremely fast dance involving frantic side kicks and steps. It quickly became popular, particularly among the younger generation, but also gained a reputation as a morally dangerous dance. Swing bands and music led to the jitterbug. The jitterbug introduced movements of improvisation solo known as breakaway steps, and also includes a variation called the Lindy, or Lindy Hop. Rock and roll music led to a dance of the same name. Rock and roll dance was a partner dance with moments of solo improvisation, but also involved a more sexual response to the music with pelvic thrusts and movement. Then the dance styles that had merged started to change the development of social dances. When the twist emerged, it was performed individually without any requirement of physical contact, unlike the social dances that came before. In 1977, with the success of the film Saturday Night Fever, disco dancing became instantly popular throughout the United States. Like the twist, disco dancing was a solo activity with an emphasis on individuality and creativity, rather than the structure and form of older social dances. From this point on, social dancing among the younger generations continued to be a solo activity, with few, if any, restrictions in style or structure. The primary focus of the history of social dance has been on Western European societies. Unfortunately, compared to the history of Western social dancing, there is little information on the history of social dancing in Asia, Africa, or South America. Just as with folk dancing, in countries outside of Europe and the United States, dance continued to have a spiritual component, and pure social dancing was not widely developed or explored. This was not to say that purely social dancing does not occur in other countries, however. For example, Latin American dances such as the rumba, samba, paso doble, jive, and cha-cha became popular in the 20th century and were added to the list of codified dances used in ballroom competitions. What can be said about the entire history and development of social dancing is the way in which social dance traditions mirror the views of society at the time. Gender roles in society are reflected in social dancing, as are ideas regarding social class and standing. Thus, changes in social norms are often reflected in, or even spurred by, changes in social dancing. If we look at the emergence of solo social dance forms, such as the twist and disco dancing, they were occurring at a time in which women were gaining more independence, and the old ideas regarding gender roles were being challenged. The appeal of such dancing is that it is truly an individual activity and does not rely on specific roles or actions of the participants. This translates to the newest form of social dancing, hip-hop dance, seen in the United States and across the world. We will discuss hip-hop culture and its movement styles in future weeks.